Hello and welcome to another Tony Talks 2 episode. Now we are really blessed today because we have a superstar who's agreed to come on our program today. Wow, what can I say about this individual? She is truly amazing. I mean, she is a serial entrepreneur, would you believe? And when I found out a bit more about Cheryl, I mean, it will blow you away of what she's already done and accomplished so far. She is already a book author. She is a public speaker. She is an international supermodel. And on top of that, she is an airline pilot as well. And she's had other businesses too, which we'll no doubt get to. So please put your hands together and welcome Cheryl Jacobs. Cheryl, woo!
Hey Tony, how are you today?
I'm super good. I hope you are too.
I am. Have a lot of big things coming up, so I'm pretty excited with my life right these days.
Wow, wow. I mean, your resume that comes up is incredible. And you've done other things, you've had other businesses, you've sold them. I mean, we'll enlighten our listeners and viewers on that. But this is just an opportunity for them to get to know who the real Cheryl is, as opposed to sort of the entrepreneurial one that most people get to see. So hopefully we can share, well, things that you want to share, of course, with our audience and see where we go from there. So, but first off, thank you for agreeing to be interviewed today. That is a privilege for us. So thank you.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm honored.
I'm looking forward to this interview just to find out a bit more what makes you tick and how you've become this successful. But first off, I just want to sort of, you don't have to say how old you are. I often ask my guests this, but you don't need to say that. But where were you born?
I was born in a little town called Amherst, Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's not where you live now, is it?
No, I moved to New York City in '97. I did a year in LA in '96. And I've been here in New York City since '97.
Okay. How'd you find New York? Obviously, you've been there a while now.
I had been traveling here for work, for modeling, when I was 19, 20, 21. And at 21, I got picked up by a big agency, one in LA and one in New York. I tried LA first. I didn't really like it. And when I was 26, after modeling and traveling back and forth to New York City, I just decided to move here.
Oh wow. So you were in central New York or?
Manhattan.
Oh wow.
Yes, New
Okay.
York City.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Just for the benefit of our listeners here, I'm in near London in the UK, so we have got a bit of a time difference. For Cheryl, she's the time we're doing this, it's just after midday, is that right?
It's around noontime here. Yes.
Noontime. Okay, yeah, we're a bit further on from that. Now, you said you were in Ohio.
I grew up in Ohio. My whole family is still there.
Okay. Do you get to see them that often because of busy schedules or?
Before COVID, I would go home 5 times a year. I haven't been home in 2 years, but I plan on going home for the holidays this year.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Because things have eased up now because obviously COVID is caused problems for everybody, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's eased up now, and I would say half the people are wearing masks still, and the other half aren't.
Hmm.
So, and I just didn't want to go home. My father's in his 70s, and New York City got really bad, and I didn't want to. Even though I never got sick, I just didn't want to bring anything home to him. So I
Yeah,
kind
of course,
of stayed
of course.
away, let it run its course.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll be nice anyway. Right. I'm going to ask you something that our listeners and viewers won't know about you. Do you have any favorite childhood experiences that you wish to share that would, be nice for people to hear about you?
Well, my childhood is different than a lot of them today. Today, everybody's stuck to their phones and their iPads and their computers and video games and all that. We didn't have computers when I was a kid, so it was outside playing kickball, hide and seek, and I was I was more of a tomboy, so I used to ride dirt bikes and build
Oh, wow.
forts and those kind of things. Uh, yeah, I played softball a lot as a kid. I played that for 10 years. From
Oh,
8 to
wow.
18, I played softball. Uh, Track and cross country, I was really good at. Say, I actually got a scholarship to Kent State on a track and cross country scholarship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how did that go then? Did you take it up and
Yeah,
proceed,
I
or
studied aeronautics at Kent State for 4 years.
is this what your love for flying came in then? Is
That's
that
where it came in. And then when I got
ah,
picked up by the modeling agency, I pursued that, which my father wasn't really happy about. Why would you pursue 4 years of college to go model? But I got to travel the world and do what I really love to do. And I don't regret any of it. I still model today.
wow. Wow, wow, wow. Fantastic. Yes, I mean, yeah, you do. I've seen your posts because I follow you obviously on social media, and fantastic they are too. Now, okay, I've asked you a favorite thing growing up. Is there anything you hated whilst growing up?
Hating growing up, girls always teaming up on me. I was that shy girl who was nerdy, getting straight A's in calculus, and
Oh,
uh,
wow.
used to do that technical drawing and things like that. So I was that nerdy, cute girl, but that didn't know she was cute, and girls just teaming up on me. That's what I just remember that.
Oh, really? Was
Yeah.
it jealousy, do you think, perhaps, now
Oh
looking back?
yeah. Yeah. And I I would do spiteful things like, okay, steal their boyfriend.
Oh,
Okay, you want to keep messing with me? I'm gonna steal your boyfriend.
never got to fisticuffs then. No, not quite.
Kind of childish, but that was my revenge.
Very good. Okay. I mean, anything growing up that you perhaps look back on, you think, do you know what? That was a great life lesson. That sort of shaped me more. Is there anything that you can
That
perhaps recall?
There's actually construction outside my window. I don't know. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, okay. Is there anything that growing up shaped you that you think, do you know what, that
Shame.
experience, yeah, as a life
Um,
lesson, so to speak?
well, yeah. I mean, when I was 18, I ended up getting pregnant by my high school sweetheart, and by 19, I had two babies.
Oh, wow.
There wasn't really much to do in Ohio except for get married and have children. So that
Bless you.
was kind of my thing, you know, and, and and I think that a lot of people, you're never going to amount to anything. You're a teenage mom. I was living in poverty. It was probably a really difficult time for me,
Did
I
that
would
did
say.
that strengthen you though? Did that give you resolve,
Oh
or
yeah.
were you
Well, I mean, one thing I have to mention too is kind of what really shaped me is when I was 19, 20, I was going through a divorce because I was married to an abusive alcoholic and I had two small babies and we were going through poverty. So I was really searching for a way to leave him in a way. And when I a friend of mine had drove me down to Cincinnati, heard about a model search, and that's when I got picked up by two huge model agencies, one in LA and one in New York. And that was kind of my hope to get away from him. Um, and I ended up landing a really huge modeling job in New York City, which allowed me to pretty much escape him.
wow.
But the thing about it is, when I was leaving at 21, my mother passed away. And then 3 months later, her mother passed away. So I had just lost
Oh,
two of the both most influential women in my life. And then I was going through divorce, I was going through poverty, and raising two small babies on my own all at the same time. And I would think I went into a very deep, dark depression. The only thing that really pulled me out was my mother's words, is that you're strong enough and you're smart enough to stand on your own 2 feet. And I used that as the wind under my wings, basically. And that
wow.
being an entrepreneur at heart is how I started my first agency. My modeling and talent agency was my very first business at 21.
Oh, goodness me. That's incredible. I mean, that is an incredible story because you everything bad hit you at the same time. It was turmoil, I suppose, and you got little ones as well to look after, as well as all these external things. I mean, how did you cope? What mechanisms did you use?
I honestly went into a deep, dark depression, and the only thing that really pulled me out of it was constantly working. And that drive, at that time, it wasn't a drive to succeed. It was more of a drive for survival. I had two babies,
Wow.
and paying a babysitter all the hours. It was, $400 a week just in babysitting services,
Wow.
which
That's
back
a
then
lot.
was a lot of money. It's more of
It's a
probably
lot
like,
now. There's a
yeah.
lot now,
And
yeah.
it came to the point where I was never seeing my children. They were being raised by a babysitter, and when I started becoming really, really big in modeling, and I decided to move to New York City, is when I gave up my children to my ex-husband and said, Listen, I'm paying all the bills." He wasn't really giving me child support. "I'm paying all the bills. I'm working all the time. They're being raised by babysitters." Have not made that hard decision to kind of go full time into modeling to be
Mm.
able to provide for my children, basically, without
So
them being
your so
raised by
your
babysitters.
so your ex-husband wasn't really contributing at all.
Not at all. And his mother lived 5 minutes away from him. So it was the best decision for me to let him raise them and me take them on the weekends and work my tail off during the week
Yeah.
to provide for them.
How that must have been such a difficult decision in itself. I mean, how old were
It
the
really was,
children?
because at that time they were 2 and 4 when
Oh,
I had to give them up.
well, it's not really giving them up, is it? It's sharing parental
Shared parenting.
responsibility. So
Yeah. And it was better for them to be there on the daily, and then on the weekends when I wasn't working, to do fun things with them and give them
yeah.
memories.
Yes, yes. Were they far away or were they close
No,
by?
I was living on the east side of Cleveland and they were living on the west side of Cleveland. So it was an hour
Okay,
drive.
right. So it wasn't insurmountable. It wasn't that far. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a challenge again. Bless you. You've been through some struggles. You've had to make some really tough decisions, but I assume now that the children adults and you've got a relationship there. It's how does that work?
Are you referring to my children's
Yeah.
company? Well, yes, today I owned 13 businesses
Wow.
that I've started from just a dream.
Wow.
I currently run 4 online businesses, and the Kids Party Characters is my ninth business that I sold
Wow.
6 months ago. It was probably my most successful business. And what Kids Party Characters is we send actors to dress as princesses and superheroes, and they would play games and do face painting. And then I had the bouncy houses and the vending machines. And so we were the whole kids party entertainment company. For
Wow.
10 years, I ran that company, and it was my most successful one. And I sold it 6 months ago, which I literally cried when I gave it away.
Oh,
But I wanted to build my other companies. And the
right.
only way for me to do it was to let it go and focus on them.
Okay. See, that's because it's your baby in terms of business, your business baby. That's
It
also
was.
hard to sort of pass away. But I'm hoping that who you sold it to was able to or is able to treasure it like you've done, obviously, over those 10 years.
No.
Oh
No, you know what?
no!
People think that, like, I mean, I've run 13 businesses, so it comes easy for me because it's
Yeah,
something I've trained myself to do and something I've learned how to do.
yeah.
And people think that because I make it look easy, it's going to be easy for them. So I've had to give him a lot of guidance, a lot of mentoring, a lot of do this and don't do that
Yeah, yeah.
along the way, but he's getting it. He's getting it.
Wow. I mean, it sounds like you can just pop these businesses up really, really rapidly because of all the past experience that you've accumulated. You can just churn them out. Any idea you think, ha, is that
And
how your mind works? Do you find?
it is. I mean, I've always looked at something like I've never worked for a boss. I've always had my own business. My 21 was my first business. I've never worked for a boss. And I would always look at something like I say, an abandoned building, and I'm like, oh, I can make apartment buildings out of that. I always looked at how I can make a business out of it instead of let me get an apartment there.
Yeah.
No,
So you
so
look at it differently from everybody else, really.
I do, and it was just something that came naturally to me. Like I've just always been like, what's the big picture, and how can I make this into a business? Okay. One thing that happened to me when I was a kid is my car broke down when I was in the middle of college. I had 8 days left of college, and my ex-husband had not tightened the fuel filter. So as I was dropping off the babies to the babysitter, I heard the babysitter say, "There's your car's on fire. Your car's on fire." And she had this huge tree in the front yard, and all I kept thinking was like, "Oh my God, the car's going to catch on fire, and it's going to catch this tree on fire. It's going to
Ooh.
catch the house on fire." So I literally pushed this car out into the street, and as
You
I'm
pushed
walking,
it.
I pushed
You
it.
pushed.
I pushed it, and as I was walking away, the thing blew. Like literally a minute, literally like 30 seconds to 60 seconds later. And the crazy thing about it is the car was willed to me from my grandmother who had just passed. And my father's brother was a fireman. So my father's brother came and put his mother's car out that was on fire. So that was the biggest joke of my family forever, was that Cheryl had grandma's car for a week and blew it up. So now I'm stuck with 8 days of school, no car, and I had to finish. So I would get up at 5 a.m. I had a sign going west. So I hitchhiked to school. All these crazy people. I remember one guy like pulled over in a semi. I was like, oh my God, I was like 19. Pulled over in a semi. Like, I'll give you a ride. Where are you going? And he's like, do you mind if I roll a joint? Okay, go ahead. Whatever.
Okay.
19. And then he's like, do you want to hit this? And I'm like, well, I'm going to go take my finals right now. I don't think it's really good before my finals. And I remember I was so scared. The minute he pulled over, I like ran across the street into traffic to just get away from this guy, just to go to school. So that's how I finished my last 8 days of school, is hitchhiking, going west and going east
Oh, good
with all these
grief.
crazy perverted men that gave me a ride to school and back. I never
Oh
told my
dear.
dad that story till years later. He's like, you did what?
I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. He'd be crazy hearing that.
Yeah, that's
Oh
how I
dear.
finished my education.
Brilliant. Okay. I mean, I know, you've got this entrepreneurial mindset. Clearly, it's abundantly clear to see. I mean, what, there must be something other than, you said that the words from your mother that inspired you to move forward. But is there any other influences that also steer you along this path?
My father he always was creating projects at home. And I think that was probably the biggest influence on, he was, oh, I mean, still today at 70, he's building sheds, he's building decks for his house and things like that. He was constantly doing projects. And I think that's where definitely got it from.
So a great work ethic and just entrepreneurial mindset, which is fantastic combination.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Okay. Now, you've given us some background about where you were growing up, your life lessons, which are quite a tough life lesson, but they seem to have, given you that armor to be strong in later life and have that just go do it attitude, which is phenomenal. So listeners and watchers, that is a brilliant takeaway. So that's number one. But I'm going to ask you, what number one attribute do you feel will help people succeed in a career, business, or just life in general, really, that you can put your finger on and say, you know what, that is fundamental?
I always say this, because it's so true, is who you surround yourself with is the most important life lesson in life. Because if you surround yourself with 5 people who go partying on the weekends and they live for the weekends, you're going to be the sixth person. But if you surround yourself by people who are ahead of you, or people who inspire you, or people who are driven, you're going to be that sixth millionaire. You're going to be that person. It's so, I would say who you surround yourself is the most important thing for your mindset, for your soul, for your drive. That is the most important thing, I would say. And number two, I always say this too, is relentlessly don't give up on your dream and find a way to make it happen and make it work, and just consistently work on it every single day. And if you don't know how to do something, hire somebody. Or like I've had 8 coaches before. I've had 8 coaches. I've had speech coaches. I've had marketing coaches. I've had podcast coaches. I've had book writing coaches. Like I've had 8 coaches before in my life. So if you don't know how to do something, hire somebody, but make sure they're qualified, because there's a lot of gurus out there, and you'll end up spinning your tires and wasting a lot of money for people who don't know what they're doing. So check their references. That's another thing. Get references, see their success level, and those kind of things. And I think those are the 3 most important things: is who you surround yourself with, relentless consistency, drive to succeed, and if you don't know how to do something, hire somebody to teach you.
Somebody. Wonderful, wonderful advice. Fantastic. I mean, obviously the speech side of it, we share a commonality there with Toastmasters, which is a wonderful
That's right. You did come on one of my Toastmaster classes. I haven't been to Toastmasters since they went viral. I did for a minute. I'm waiting for them to open up to the live classes again. It's just not the same.
It's not the same online, is it? No.
I'm
with you there. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
But a great organization for anyone watching or listening and scratching their head going, Toastmasters, what's that?
It really is, because it teaches you how many ums and likes you're saying, and that you don't even realize. And I used to shake back and forth, rock back and forth, and I never realized that without the critique of Toastmasters and telling them, guiding you along the way.
Absolutely. And it's positive as well. It's a positive atmosphere, and they're trying to better everybody, aren't they? No, I do like Toastmasters myself, but I'm with you. Wait until they go back, because it's still online. So yeah, I feel that one. Okay. Now, obviously you've done many, many things. Are any of these, can you class them as a passion? I know you said that the pilot was the one that drew you, and obviously you're a very successful supermodel, but are any of these your true passion in life?
My 10th business, which is Elite Flight Club, is the reason why I sold my kids' company. I started it 5 years ago at a Tony Robbins Business Mastery, and that's the reason why I sold my kids' company. I became a pilot in 2005, and it's always been my dream to fly for my own company. And the only way for me to do it was to sell one company and focus on really building this one, which I did it 6 months ago. And I'm about to take my commercial check ride coming up here in Dallas. I went to Dallas all summer and got my instrument rating. I was doing all of this stuff before, and then COVID hit, and the planes were grounded for 2 years.
You couldn't do it.
So I had to start all over from scratch and take my writtens over, but I'm getting ready to go back down to Dallas here in November to take my commercial check ride.
Wow. Wow. Fantastic. Good luck with that. And knowing you'll breeze past it. So yeah. Fantastic. That is amazing. So that's your passion. So what you got, I mean, you've got all these other businesses as well. I mean, do you feel, I mean, probably I'm jumping the gun here, but do you feel that those will at some point maybe diminish and you'll focus only on this one? Or do you still like tinkering with so many sort of income streams, I would say?
Those businesses run themselves. I've set them up in platforms where they run themselves. Like I sell workout videos. I'm a huge bodybuilder. I started bodybuilding seriously about 2 years ago, you know, sitting behind a desk all the time with all these online businesses. I started gaining a bunch of weight and hired a bunch of trainers to help me get back in shape. And then once I started seeing results, I really swerved my modeling from print modeling to fitness modeling. I just graced the cover of Barbell's Fitness.
Yeah, I
And
saw
I
that. That
have,
was fantastic.
yeah, and I really, and it's a whole community that I never knew of. Like bodybuilding is really a whole community of people, especially the gym I go to. It's like 44,000 square foot, and everybody's kind of, fist pumping each other and encouraging each other. It's like a little family, and I really, really didn't know that I would enjoy that. And that's one of my businesses is online businesses. I have selling workouts and teaching people because they're like, how did you
Mm.
lose two pant sizes and how did you get in this kind of shape? So I sell workout videos. I built a workout app that
Wow.
I'm actually flying to London where you are to one of the athletes lives in London. He's a power lifter. I'm getting ready to fly out there after my commercial rating. After I pass my commercial rating, I'm flying to London and shooting him. I have another professional. He just won Mr. Olympia,
Oh, wow.
one of those bodybuilding competitions, and he's going to be another one. I have one on there, one athlete on there now, and I have one girl that I have in mind, which I haven't spoke to yet, but I have one girl because you got to have a girl on there. That's gonna make the boys, just to watch her workouts or whatever. So that's one of my businesses, selling workout videos and my workout app. I have another business where I teach people how to build their own online business and how to franchise it, and also how to sell their business. Since I just sold my first business, so I that's another one of my businesses. But that's automated. That's on Thinkific. It's like a Cheryl School
Oh, okay.
kind of thing. So that's
So
another
you
one of
set
my.
up all the profile there and then it's automatic and it
Yeah,
just generates passive income in the
yeah.
background.
I have a Facebook group, How to Build Your Own Online Business, and yeah, there's groups on this. You just attended one of my webinars on
I
there, and
did, yes.
so I teach people how to build their own business, how to franchise their business, and how to sell their business, and it's growing. It's a nice little community of entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs who want to be entrepreneurs. And it's a cute little community. And then I've written 5 books. So
Wow. I mean,
those.
that is there's no end to your talent. It's incredible.
Yeah, I have 5 books on Amazon. I actually just hired a marketer yesterday. They're doing a whole book trailer and they're making a commercial for me and
Wow.
rebuilding the whole platform to get it. It's on Amazon, but they're helping me get it on Barnes and Nobles now and things like that.
Okay.
Uh, so I have those little businesses on kind of my entrepreneurial journey and my modeling journey. And, I was a dancer for many years. I have one book about my dancing career.
Oh, you were a dancer as well.
I was a dancer, actress, model, dancer for a long time in New York
Whoa. What
City,
sort
Los
of dance?
Angeles,
What sort of
Vegas.
style?
I'm, s- um, I'm not New York ballet.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was more of a go-go kind of club stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I made a
Okay.
ridiculous amount of money, traveled
Wow.
around. I danced in Italy, I danced in Japan. It was more
Wow.
feature. I was more of a feature entertainer.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I made a whole lot of money. And it's actually what funded some of my businesses, my startup businesses.
Okay.
So
Fantastic. I mean, I've got to ask you this. Do you actually sleep?
I at first I don't think I really did. I think I was completely stressed out. But now that all my businesses are automated, I have a lot of freedom. I get up when I want. I go to the gym. I work on my companies all day long. Usually end up going back to the gym for round 2.
Goodness me.
Yeah,
I mean, how often do you go to the gym? Has it become an addiction now because you've
it
seen the
is.
success?
It is. I go to the gym 6, 7 days a week, sometimes twice a
Oh,
day.
oh,
Yeah.
goodness me. But I suppose if you're launching an app on bodybuilding, I suppose, then you would need to, put in the yards in order to show that
And
journey. And
yeah, and since I've gotten in ridiculous shape, my modeling and fitness modeling has really, I mean, I have 3 photo shoots coming up and
wow.
people are constantly, will you do this for me? Will you shoot this for me? Will you do this for me? Which is crazy because when I was really into modeling, I had at one point I had 10 agents and a manager overseeing everything.
Hmm.
And, going to the auditions and you book a job here and there. And now it's weird because people are coming to me. People are coming to me and I
Wow.
don't have to do the auditioning. I manage my own career, and it's so much easier
Yeah,
and
yeah,
better, more
yeah.
money.
Goodness me, that is incredible. I mean, well, you are a superstar, was right at the start, and so you're definitely aspiring to be if you haven't already reached those dizzy heights. So, okay. Now, do you obviously you've got so many things on the go, but they're automated. Is there anything, I know you've already touched on the fact that you're going to focus on the airline, the pilot side and having that side of it. But is there anything at the moment that sort of, oh, that looks good, I might revisit that? Something that you sort of got on the pipeline, you think, oh, that's tempting.
Affiliate marketing, I'll probably do some affiliate marketing. I know I'm going to brand my flight club, Elite Flight Club, into its own affiliate. I met an affiliate marketing coach on TikTok of all places a few months ago. On TikTok of all places. And we rebranded my whole flight club, where you can log in now and book a flight, and you're going to see the virtual airplanes of and the
Wow.
price and everything like that. It's a really cool booking platform that the National Business Aviation Association helped me with. The lady was so funny because when I called her, and I used to be a broker for another company before I kind of went on my own, she was like, yeah, girl power, I'll help you set it up. You could be your own broker. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And yeah, so about 3 months ago, I restructured the whole company where it's got virtual airplanes. You can book right online, see what's available, what times and everything. It's really a cool booking platform.
Wow, wow, wow. Gosh, is there anything you haven't done? It's like, it's incredible.
I can't sing. Modeling, acting, and dancing, but I can't sing
You
to
can't
save
sing,
my life.
I didn't tell you there's some karaoke after this. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple of other things. I mean, your career now is truly incredible. You're having tremendous success, and praise that it goes on even further, which clearly it does look like it is. But let me ask you a question. Do you have, I mean, business aside, any bad habits that you'll likely want to admit to that you have? What habits do you have you think, oh, I really shouldn't do that?
I'm super sensitive to people's opinions,
Oh,
and
really?
I really am, and I always have to train my mind to their opinion doesn't really matter, because
Hmm.
either they're coming from a place where they can't compete with you or they can't have you the way that they want. And so that is probably my bad habit. It will mess up my day for a
Really?
day or two, and
Oh,
then I'll be
wow.
like, okay, it's them, not me. So I would say that's one, and I think that stems from childhood. You know, being a teenage mom, people saying, "Oh, you're never going to amount to anything." So I think that childhood trauma right there, and
Yeah, it's quite
that's
difficult
my
to
bad
shake.
habit, is
Hmm.
allowing people to get into my head, I would say.
So what do you do
I'm getting
to
much better at
curb
it.
that? Yeah, what do you, yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you do to sort of not let that get to you?
I read a lot of self-help improvement and Tony Robbins kind of videos about don't let people get in your way. Let yourself get in your own way. As a constant reminder to block out the negativity, and surround yourself with positivity,
Yeah.
and positive affirmations every morning and things like that to really work through it.
You should read some of my affirmations. I don't know if you've seen some of mine that I put up. I'm quite into that because obviously I'm a public speaker like you are, and I obviously do affirmations as well. So if you've not caught any of them, please have a look because
Okay, I
they
will.
help. Anyway, forget that. It's digressing. But yeah, the okay, that was interesting. So as you're climbing this ladder, I assume you're getting more criticism because there's going to be people out there, I suppose, who are just envious.
Yeah, I do a lot of blocking on social media. I
Mm,
there's always that you'll have like thousands of people who'll be like, oh my God, you're so inspirational. Thank you for sharing your story. And then you'll get that one person that'll say something negative. And that's who I'll think of. I'll think of that person like, oh, but you can't please everybody, obviously.
No.
And yeah, the social media stuff, especially I just did a Forbes article, which is about to come out and hit the market, about how I sold my company, and I sold my first Fortune 500 company. And I have a feeling when that hits the market, it's going to make a lot of people mad.
Well, you've got to almost go, I don't care, because you're successful and you're that shining light for everybody, which is fantastic. So don't worry about the idiot people who are naysayers. You are doing wonderful things, and long may it continue. An inspiration. I'm not just saying that lightly. So
That's what I
well
use.
done.
That's what I really use, because I have a lot of, especially women, um, who come to me and they're like, you really saved my life today. Like, thank you for sharing. Like, I try to put positive quotes and positive, tell my story constantly,
Yeah.
about how if I can make it, you can make it. And I have a lot of people telling me, thank you for doing what you do, because I needed to hear that, or I needed those words of encouragement. So, I mean, that's really my drive behind why I became a public speaker, why I wrote my books, why I do the training on, how to start your own business and get out of your own way
Mm.
kind of avenue. And I never intended on doing it to become a millionaire doing so. I sell my books for $5. It's not gonna make me a millionaire someday, but I did it to help people pretty
Mm.
much, because I've been there. I've been to a place so low where I felt there was no hope. And so I'm always telling people, if I can do it, you can do it. Just keep at it, keep relentlessly doing it. Don't worry about what people say. So I think that's what really encourages me to keep climbing and taking as
Wonderful.
many people with me as I can.
Fabulous, fabulous. That is so inspirational, and people listening and watching this will take so much away from what you've shared today. It's fantastic. Okay, I mean, there's obviously some difficult stories that you shared, which is wonderful, because it shows from where you've come from to where you're going to, which is so inspirational. But let's look at something more light-hearted. Is there any funny story or experience that you've gone through that you wish to share?
My kids' company was a lot of talking to housewives during the day. Uh, and some of the story, I remember, some people should not be in business. And I remember one woman calling me who, when Frozen came out, and there's this Princess Elsa who's like an ice princess.
Yeah.
This woman called me and she's like, they didn't have a costume. They sent over this girl in this blue summer dress and a Rapunzel wig. And the kids were she's like, the kids were so confused. They didn't know who she was, what she was, or anything, so some of the story. And then this other woman told me she hired a Spider-Man, and this 40-year-old guy with a beer gut comes knocking on the door with not even a mask. He painted his face red. And her son was like, who is that? And she's like, what do I tell my son? He's retired and he drinks a lot of beer right now. Like, I don't know what to tell my son. And then the funniest one, I would say, during COVID, this woman calls me, and it was like when everybody was abandoned everybody had to stay in their homes. And she was like, please come entertain my kids. I can't. She's like, I haven't done my roots in 2 months. I haven't done my nails. They're both fighting all day long. I want to kill my husband. She's like, come entertain my children, please. And it was just the way that she was saying it. I was just probably the funniest thing that
Brilliant.
I would ever
Brilliant.
speaking to her.
Oh, I like that. Please help me, COVID. I can't stand it. Okay. Right. I don't know if I've asked you this one now. We've got so sidetracked. It's been great. Is there one word of advice this is not natural, necessarily a character trait, but a word of advice, business advice that you would give to people starting a new business? What's one of the first things they really need to look at or consider? What would you think that should be?
Find something that you're really passionate about. When you find something that you're really passionate about, it won't feel like a job. You're going to find multiple ways to make it grow and make it better because it's something that you love. That's what I would definitely say. Find something that you really love, something that you're really passionate about, and it's not going to feel like a job. It's going to feel like a blessing.
Right. So you're more likely to get out of bed for, because you don't treat them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's gonna excite you to watch it grow and watch it bloom, and it's gonna grow into ways that you've never thought imaginable.
Wow. Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay. I've got to ask you this. Now, don't name names.
Uh-oh.
Is there anybody that you've had to deal with, that you've worked with, or you associate with, that has simply driven you insane? And if there is, could you tell me what it was that did it?
Well, before I started my children's entertainment company, I was asked by an agent to play Cinderella at a kid's party. He was one of my acting agents, modeling agents. And at that time, my kids were grown. I totally forgot how to work with children and talk to them. I didn't even know. I mean, I would go in there, hey, what's up? How are you, little man? It was bad. They used to complain like she doesn't know how to work with kids. She doesn't know how to
Oh,
talk to them. Everything like that. I'm like, my kids are grown. Like I haven't worked with little children before. I mean, I got it eventually, but this guy was so nasty. Instead of him calling and being like, Cheryl, maybe try this, maybe do that, he would call and start screaming at me, and I would just hang up on him. Just hang up on him. And eventually, I think by the third time that he would call and scream at me, I said, that's it. I quit. Come get all your costumes. Because by then I had probably 50 of his costumes at my house. I said, come get all your costumes. I quit. And that's when I decided me to go on my own. And he was not happy. I'm going to be a thorn in your side for the rest of your life.
wow.
Well, I overtook him and became number one on Google. And then I had my podcast and my books about my business and my blogs and everything. So
Wow.
I was on page one of Google about 5 times with all of this, with my website,
Wow.
with the podcast and my books and everything like that. And so I kind of blew him out of the water.
Wow. Good on you, because he sound terrible. Screaming. I mean, that's just outrageous, isn't it?
You do not know how to carry a conversation.
No, indeed, indeed. I mean, on a similar line, I suppose, is there something that you hate other people that do it, like a trait or something where they maybe, I don't know, they
People,
interrupt or don't listen?
yeah,
I don't know.
I would say people that don't remain humble. Some people, they become wealthy or they become successful, and then they treat people like they're better than them. And
Mm,
and I that's one of the things that I really dislike about people who become really uber successful or people who become successful is they don't treat others the right way. And that is one of my biggest pet peeves. And I don't, I have guys asking me out, I'm single right now. I have guys asking me out. Oh, I got this, I got that. And that doesn't impress me.
mm,
How you treat me and how you treat others is more important because you can lose it all tomorrow. And if your
absolutely.
personality and your heart is cold, now what do you have? Now you have people that don't like you and you're broke.
Very good. No, absolutely true word said, because it's people's personality, their confidence, their charisma. That's what makes them successful, not the material things. That's secondary. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Question for you personally now. Do you have a worst enemy, and is that you? And if so, what is it about you, if it is you, is that enemy trait that's stopping you? What is it that maybe drives you insane? Or maybe it could be somebody else, but, or is it you?
I mean, like I said before, I used to really let negative people affect me and get into my head. I would say more these days. I mean, I still have my bad days where I wake up and I'm never going to amount to anything. I still have
Ooh,
those words coming
wow.
and you know, especially when it comes to a point when you get so many haters coming at you at once, especially with these social media stuff,
Mm,
and it all hits you at once. And I have a way of, I'm very sensitive to those kind of things because I don't treat people that way, and I sometimes can't understand how other people can treat me or treat others so poorly
mm.
out of insecurity or jealousy or things like that. I would say that is my biggest obstacle, is to train my mind to let those things go. That's definitely, I mean, I sometimes it'll knock me off for the whole day and that's all I think about. And that is probably my worst trait, is to allow negative people to get into my mind. And that's that's ruined some of my days, definitely.
Oh, bless you. I mean, I'm a little like you, I'll be honest with you, because you, well, in my case, I want to please everybody, but obviously, like you've already said, you can't. And there will be people who are behind a keyboard hiding away, who feel the need to criticize anybody that's successful because they feel they're not succeeding. So it's easier to bring someone down than look at their failings and why they're not succeeding. And it's mainly down to them. But I think, just sorry, I'm digressing here. I think social media companies are to blame because they let these anonymous people put comments up when they can quite easily stop it. Because those people, would they say things like that to you in the street if they met you in the street? Probably not.
No, because they're big and bad behind a computer screen, but in person they'll run from you.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll be intimidated by the fact that you're so successful. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. But they feel they're behind a keyboard and they're, empowered to say things which really in reality they wouldn't say. But I suppose your worst enemy trait is not to accept that and try and keep it at arm's length, I suppose. That's easier said than done, I suppose.
Yeah, especially when it's maybe somebody you've grown up with or a family member.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I remember I remember my first book, a bunch of people that I went to high school with started making reviews. Like, why would you buy my book just to bash me on my
Wow.
reviews? And then I'm like, and I would, but then I would have other girlfriends like, what have you accomplished in your life? Like they're bashing them for me back. And I'm
What?
like, so I have these big
So you
social
got people
media like
defending you, yeah.
slurs of people fighting on my behalf behind me.
But that's nice, is it not? I mean, that shows that
It's,
they're
it's
encouraged
comical
by you and want
actually.
to defend you.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that's really, really good. Okay, let's get on a couple more questions here. I mean, you've answered a few about inspiration, so I won't need to re-ask you that again. And you've also answered the one about what motivates you each day, because your passion, that's clear to see in your voice, in your demeanor. You're excited about what you do and the journey you're undertaking, which is fantastic. And let's hope our listeners and viewers can pick up on your passion. And I think it's more, coming through to them, and they can seize that and build their own journey. So that's wonderful to see. Now, if you had to write your own obituary, now obviously it's not going to come now for many, many years, but if you had to write it, what would you say?
Oh boy, I haven't thought about this one. My own obituary, I would say, love people with all your heart. Always love people with all your heart, no matter no matter what, because a good person is always a good person. And people will always remember how you made them feel and not what you have.
Wow. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Do you think, along those same lines, do you think one of your friends, best friend, would describe you in a similar vein, or would they use different words? How would your best friend now describe you?
Yeah, I think they would, because I have I have a very small circle. I used to be friendly with everybody, but I have a very small circle, and the people that I do have around me are really beautiful people. They're beautiful souls. And you know, I have an amazing business coach right now, my TikTok coach, uh, who has probably helped me grow as a person and business wise more than anyone in my life. And I have some really amazing girlfriends. I have one girlfriend that I moved here with in 97 from Ohio that I'm still friends with, who owns her own gym. Thank God, because during COVID, I was able to continue to work out at her
Brilliant.
gym. And she's a beautiful soul. And my best friend is, she's driven like me, and she's such a good person. So I would definitely say, because the people that I have around me right now are really, really good people.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do they form? I mean, it's a side issue. Do they form part of a little mastermind group? Do you ever get together with them and bounce ideas and things
Oh,
like that?
my business partner, my business coach, every day. And he's
Wow.
so excited because he's watching my flight club grow right now. And when he met me, it was kind of like you, with, not recording or anything, but he kind of was like, your story, you just need to really bundle it all up and really get it out there in a way to present it to people. And that's it. When we started rebuilding my flight club, and now that it's getting clients and it's
Hmm.
really producing a lot more than it did. And he helped me build my speaker page, and he's really he's really helped me a lot in a way that, and I totally forgot what your question was. but but I just know that,
You were talking about your best friend, and if you have a mastermind group that you have, because you said that you
yeah,
speak to
like
them
him.
every
Yeah,
day.
like him, I definitely bounce ideas off constantly, and he's passionate about it, about growing too, because he's seen the results. And
Hmm. I
his
mean,
biggest
this
his biggest thing is like, we're going to Bora Bora when it's really, really big.
Bora.
I'm like, no problem, bring your wife. Hopefully that I'll have a boyfriend we can bring.
Bora Bora sounds great. Okay, I mean we're mindful of the time here. We're getting close to the hour, so I've got a few more questions I want to ask you. Um, I mean you mentioned earlier on about the guy that you left for the first job that you were doing, the character job, where you said, right, I'm packing up, I'm going, and he said, I'll be following you, I'll be making sure
I'll,
you don't
I'll be a
succeed.
thorn in your side, as
Yeah,
in.
Thorn. Yeah, is he your saboteur, or is there anybody else that's tried to sabotage your success? I know you've given examples of people who,
Yeah, I mean, well, he immediately got blocked, so
so easy to
he
to block him. Yeah.
yeah, I immediately blocked him on all my social media, his phone and everything like that. So he's no longer. But I would say, I mean, I did have a partner for my flight club. When he saw me rebuild it, and he he tried to get a piece of it, and honestly, I'm like, you didn't help me rebuild the company. You didn't put
Oh.
anything financial into it. He was unqualified, and so I kind of got rid of him.
Oh,
He was another
wow.
person that I had to really block out. uh
So
I
you
do
have
have,
had some
unfortunately.
naysayers, quite big naysayers on the way, really, trying to jump in and,
Yeah, I mean, kind of just jump on the bandwagon, but not really
mm,
bring anything to the table. um I do have some family members that have tried to sabotage me, like,
wow.
especially, when I had the kids company, I was dressing like a princess on the weekends. Why are you dressing like a 5-year-old? And, and those kind of things. But I'm the most successful in my family. My father worked in a factory. My mother was a secretary. I was the only person who became a serial entrepreneur, was traveling the world, modeling, flying airplanes. So, that kind of made some family members mad. Why you moved to New York City, you abandoned the family, and those kind of things that I had to deal with for a long time that really ate at me. It doesn't anymore, because now I'm at a point now where I have a lot of freedom. I can get up when I want. I can go to the gym when I want. I can travel when I want. I can fly an airplane when I want. I could take what modeling jobs that I want. I don't have to take them all like I used to when I was younger. So I have a lot of freedom, and people don't really faze me anymore when they come with me with their negativity.
Do you know what's really surprising, which I discovered myself through my journey? There's some people who would be possible saboteurs to you, and you think they are, but when they're away from you and someone else contacts them about you, they actually sing your praises, because secretly they are envious and secretly they applaud your success, but they'd never say it to you directly. And
that's kind of why my ex is my ex.
Oh, okay.
That's why my ex is my ex, because I could feel that tension of jealousy. And, especially when you tell somebody, oh my, I just booked a job in speaking. I just booked a job in speaking in Vegas, and they're quiet on the other end. So you can tell that they're secretly envious. And yeah.
Do you still speak to your ex then, or is that something you've?
I didn't for a while, because it was, when you really love somebody and you have to let them go, it's painful to talk to them. We're on a friendly basis now, and but I know who he is now, and I know that he's envious deep down of my success. So I can't have that so close to me anymore, because it's not going to allow me to aspire at the level that I want to be when somebody's kind of trying to pull you down constantly.
Yeah, you don't want someone in your inner circle undermining you that close and that sensitive, I suppose, if there were.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Right, couple more questions before we wrap up. Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years?
Well, once I get my commercial license, I'm going to start flying for my own company. And the first 2 years, I'm going to be first officer. In 2 years, I want to be captain. That's what I want to be, captain for my own company, booking flights like crazy. I probably will still be modeling. I probably will model till they tell me we don't want to take pictures of you anymore.
And years to go, so you'll be fine.
But to fly myself to my own speaking engagements, to my own modeling and my own modeling jobs, and to be a captain for my own company. That's my 2-year goal.
2-year goal.
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, if there's one takeaway that you could leave, actually, I've got some more here. I'm going to ask you these, but this would have been my last question, but I've got a couple more here. If there was one takeaway you could leave the listeners and watchers with, what would that be?
Follow your dream. If I can make 13 businesses out of just a dream, anybody can do it, with relentless pursuit and consistency and believing in yourself and surrounding yourself with the right people. That's what I would say. Always follow your dream and make it happen, no matter what it takes. Just do it.
Fantastic. That was a tremendous interview. You've revealed some insights about your past. You've given us some terrific information that we can take away with us, and people can actually apply some of that information to their own situation, their own business. So I thank you for that. But before we wrap up, I've got some quick fire questions for you. Now, don't overly think. They're really simple. I've gone all blurry for some reason.
Yeah, I was just going to tell you, you're blurry.
Yeah, I've gone all blurry. My camera's decided to pack up. Come on, come on. I don't know what it's doing now. Come on, camera. My mic's still working, but my camera's gone blurry. There you go. It's gone back in. Right. Quick fire questions. Don't overly think. These are a bit of fun. So just a couple of, it's just literally 50-50. Which one would you pick? So just answer top of your head. Right.
Okay.
Red wine or white wine?
Red.
Red. Tea or coffee?
I drink more tea than coffee.
Okay. Plain food or spicy food?
I get heartburn, so definitely plain.
Food, okay. Beach holiday or skiing holiday?
Ooh, I skied once. I almost broke my leg. I'm going to say the beach.
Yeah, better avoid the skiing. Okay. Are you a morning person or a night person?
I am definitely a morning person. I'm up at the gym at 5 a.m. and I'm asleep by 9 p.m. So I'm definitely a morning person.
Morning person. Oh, me, I'm opposite to that. Okay. KFC or McDonald's?
Oh, none of the above. I don't think I've had fast food in years.
Good for you. Good answer. Okay. Do you eat, there's another one though, Chinese food or pizza?
I love pizza. I mean, that's my one cheat meal a month is pizza.
I'm with you on that one. Wow. Okay. Would you class yourself as tidy or messy?
Oh, I'm very tidy. My apartment is always might be a little dusty, but everything is always in place. I can't work in chaos. My car, my house, and everything is in place.
Wonderful. Okay, couple more. Townhouse or country house?
None of the above. I like to have, I live very simply, honestly, because I don't like to put things on, I don't like material things. I honestly would rather be able to pack up all my clothes and travel the world and not have to worry about a house and a house payment and those kind of things. I used to have houses. I've sold 3 houses, and I honestly don't want any of that anymore. It's too much of a responsibility. I like to pack up my clothes and just travel anytime, anywhere, and not have to worry about, okay, they can take my bed from my room.
Wow. Okay, 2 more. This is just preference. Sea view or mountain view?
I like the mountains. I think the mountains are beautiful. I'm not really a beach person, to be honest. I don't really. I think it's the most boring thing laying on the beach. I don't like laying there sweating. I think in sand all over me. It's just not my thing. I would rather look at a mountain. I think it's beautiful.
Cool. And the final question: more success on the horizon or time to put your feet up?
Definitely more success. I don't see myself putting my feet up anytime soon. I have so many things that I want to accomplish over the next 3 to 5 years. I don't see myself retiring for maybe 10 years at least. Cool. Yeah.
Wonderful. Cheryl, you've been an absolute wonderful guest on the Tony Talks 2 show. We've loved having you on with these insightful bits that our listeners and viewers can take away. So thank you for coming on the show, and I applaud you for spending your time with us this afternoon. So thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for appearing on our show. We absolutely loved it. Thank you. Thank you.